Capturing all fugitives within 24 hours is a must, or he will dismiss me. Every minute wasted risks making civilians unwittingly comical. The old cop planned a four traced a clue to the fugitive's ex-mother-in-law's home. His ex-wife started a new post-incarceration. He's no pushover. When they saw signs of forced entry, they barged into the house shouting orders and found an elderly lady being greeted by a shotgun. The fugitive was busy telling his ex-mother-in-law's positions, and when he spotted the cops, his heart skipped a beat, making both officers too nervous to act, afraid a little excitement might send. The old cop tried reasoning with him, but this guy was as stubborn as a rock stuck in a toilet. Plus, the fugitive was in such a tricky spot that snipers couldn't lock on, and SWAT was feeling as useful as a chocolate teapot. The old cop decided to toss his pride aside. After all, he wasn't going to play a life or death game. Seeing cops unconventional move, the fugitive surrendered reluctantly. Meanwhile, Hank and Zio make up the tip. Subtitle: Another fugitive on Wall Street, surrounded by gangsters. Hank thought not a social event. Hank pulled out his gun and walked up for a chat, only to be confronted by the gang leader who declared, "I know why you're here, but this kid is mine." Realizing that the negotiation was not making any progress, Hank had no choice but to step aside and call headquarters for backup. Yet all the police forces were dispatched to search for other fugitives. There was simply no extra manpower available, so Hank had to stall, waiting for the cavalry. But as they got out of the car, a fresh batch of gangsters showed up, promising tonight's party was about to get even livelier. Things escalated, promising a sleepless night. The fugitive grinned at the cops' arrival. This was the first time he'd seen cops looking so cheerful. With every entrance blocked and the sound of chaos outside, the gang dared to attack the police car. Hank stormed out in anger, thinking, "Idiot. Cross me and survive in hell, eh?" But the gang leader shrugged. He cuckolded at me. "If I take it, what'll my men think? No use talking. You gotta release him, otherwise we'll see who has more backup." And just like that, choppers and ground troops descended on the area. The gang leader was quite the knucklehead, trying to outnumber the cops, and the troublemakers got scooped up swiftly, making the operation last until dawn. Some civilians even organized their own mission to help, which was noble, but lacking intel and training. Talk about no good deed goes unpunished. What'd you catch? Caught a cop. Quiet down. They didn't do anything wrong, let them go. This was what we wanted. I can't spill the beans. They had no warrants and were storming homes without permission. This could end badly sooner or later. So, I ordered them to disperse, or they'd be facing charges of obstruction of justice. He's got wind of a sighting of a guy in an orange tracksuit dancing in the parking lot, so he and Zio May went to check it out. A car zoomed by, then came to a sudden halt as if waiting for a ticket. Turns out an old man, sentenced to life, just wanted a taste of. After hours of battle, officers finally caught the last fugitive. It was the female cop's first drug arrest, leaving the instructor with mixed feelings. She had a grimy syringe stuck in her waistband, and this was in America's infamous civilian vault. The needle had a high chance of carrying some infectious disease, and despite the sight of it, Zio May held onto a glimmer of hope until Hank yanked it out. The sight of blood on the needle instantly sent their hearts plummeting to the depths, and they thought if she contracted an infectious disease, her career would be completely shattered. They took the police officer and the evidence to a nearby hospital to have tests conducted for potential infectious diseases. Zio May started searching on her phone for possible viruses she might have been infected with. HIV and hepatitis were the major concerns. Hank reassured her not to overthink, saying let's wait for the results before we lose our minds. Zio May went to the restroom to wash her face and calm down when a woman who looked like a trophy walked in. Zio May instantly noticed something amiss. After the woman left, she spotted bleach and a needle cap inside. Turns out the woman's brother was once an athlete, but became a vegetable after an accident. She thought, why not send him off to heaven with a little jab? Zio May pleaded, "You don't have the right to decide your brother's fate. Don't make a rash decision." She wanted to save the confused woman from making a big mistake. Just then, the doctor approached Zio May with the results, and her heart nearly leaped out of her chest. The results showed she was negative for both HIV and hepatitis, but just had some staph infection. A little antibiotic and she'd be just fine. Zio May breathed a sigh of relief and returned to the station, only to find an old lady waiting with a suitcase, not even having warmed her seat yet. The old lady remarked that her father was a WW2 veteran and she brought back many souvenirs. She planned to keep them as memorabilia, but now moving to take care of her grandkids, she thought it'd be better to hand them over to the cops. The cops opened the suitcase to find assorted war relics, and as they dug deeper, one of them pulled out a landmine. Little Black immediately called the bomb squad, but the old lady nonchalantly said, "No worries, I've got plenty of those in my car." When the vice president's convoy passed through L.A., the police deployed all their resources to ensure the path was clear of civilian vehicles. The four unexpectedly spotted a car parked at the supermarket's back door, suspecting a robbery was underway. The driver was still waiting, and just a minute prior, they had passed the front of the supermarket, which was closed as something definitely smelled fishy. The station called for backup, but all available officers were with the president, leaving them to handle it alone. Using his experience, Defoe stealthily crept closer, taking advantage of the driver's blind spot. The driver froze, and under Defoe's questioning, he admitted he was just keeping watch for his crew. Subtitles, he mentioned they had been inside for quite a while and were likely to come out soon. The subtitles reveal a dramatic confrontation between the old cop and the robbers unfolding, and if this situation isn't resolved successfully, the kid is definitely going to find himself in serious trouble.